I've always said a win cures anything for a night, but a loss will expose all. And back to E. Brown giving him his love. E. Brown, E. Brown asked a very good question. What are we willing to accept in a loss that we will not accept? I mean, in a win that we will not accept in a loss. And the things we kind of talk about on this show, we talk football. We're not fanned out here. If you come to this channel, you're going to expect and you want to hear football talk, then this is the place to be, right? If you want to hear fan talk and everything's roses, and then this is not the channel for you. If you want to hear football talk and unbiased, even though I'm a Kane fan, I'm gonna give it to you as I see it, right? Through 25 years of coaching, and as I see it, through my eyes and through my coaching lens, this is the channel you should be in right here every Wednesday at 8:30. But what I'm going to say to you is when you coach and when you get into coaching, a win is never good enough. I will tell you this, and this is what I mean by that. A win is never good enough. Even when you win, you could win a national championship. You will celebrate it that night, but the next day, and as a coach, even if you win, you can't sleep because you're trying to get to that film because I need to find out what's wrong so we can fix it immediately because I know the next opponent is doing the same thing. He can't wait to get his hands on that tape so he can find a chink in the armor so they can beat us. I said this on Monday's show. I'm going to say it again. So with that being said, Louisville found a chink in our armor. Now, here's something I'm going to say, and I don't think a lot of people truly understand the impact of turnovers. There's been a lot about Coach Corey Heatherman in regards to our defense. Oh, the defense isn't. Y'all seen the good, bad, and ugly? Go check it out if you haven't checked it out. That's where I break down the good plays, the bad plays, the ugly plays, and kind of explain what's happening. As bad as we played offensively with the 4 turnovers, which probably could have been 5, but the ref blessed us with a roughing the passer call. Our defense still held them to 24 points, even with some of the explosive plays they had. Out of those 4 turnovers, we gave up 10 points. 10 points is still not good enough to win in college football. So even though our defense did bend way more than we wanted them to, I think they did enough in that game where we should have won the game. Now, here's what I mean when I talk about the 4 turnovers, and this is what people have to understand. When you give away a turnover, that is eliminated an opportunity to score. So out of 4 opportunities, the 4 turnovers deleted 4 opportunities to score. And let's just say out of those 4 opportunities, we walk away with 2 field goals. 2 field goals. We win that game by 3. 1 field goal out of the 4 opportunities, we tie the ball game. And this is why the turnover differential is so important in football. It is so important in football. If you had 11 drives, think about this, 11 drives, because I think that's what Shannon Dawson said. We had 11 total drives throughout the game, especially the way the game is done now. It eliminates about 2 drives. It used to kind of average around 12, 13, 14 drives per game. But because the clock continuously runs now with the new rules, you lose a few drives. Now, if you take 4 from the 11, you left with 7 drives to score on. 7. You're going to have some turnover on downs. Those are not necessarily turnovers, but meaning you give the ball back because you either punt it away, go for it on 4th, and don't get it. Shout out to Stewart, says dragging. Yes. Hopefully we'll hear that on the field when we're at the game. And if you don't think Stanford going to try to run some drags, you're out your ever-loving mind. Even as bad as they've been, you're out the ever-loving mind. They beat Florida State, but they bad too. So I say all that to say these things here. We have to eliminate it. Now, a lot of people are on Carson Beck's head. When you have a quarterback that's struggling, you have to take it out the quarterback's hand. Even though we were down 14-0 at the beginning of the game, I get it. Still a lot of football to be played. When he's struggling like that, or your quarterback is struggling, you got to find creative ways to give him confidence throws. And that's something I think we didn't do. I think Louisville on the surface did a good job stopping our run game, but we also didn't make it. We didn't have a lot of different run opportunities to give them. We did a lot of things up the middle, whether it was inside zone or whatever. The one time we tried it, Malachi Tony pops off 14-yard rush with the fake option end around, or reverse if you want to call it. We never tested their edge. We never tested their ends. We never tested their discipline. And I have to be honest, I didn't like what Shannon Dawson said in regards to the run. The run game, it is what it is. When people are paying hard-earned money to come, it is what it is. It's not an answer. When you're getting paid a bunch of money. I'm not saying you got to be perfect by no stretch of the imagination. However, you should have something more than that to say. A lot of people are asking for Coach Mario Cristobal to be fired. I think that's ludicrous at this point. And I've said this about Coach Cristobal, and I talk about drawing a line in the sand. Coach Cristobal has a bunch of accolades, but he has this one but. And the but is he drops games. On the surface, it is just one game. But if you peel back the layers of the onion, it's the kind of game we lost and the game we lost. I said this before, as much as I hate to say it, but it's the truth. I would have rather lost to Florida. I would have rather lost to Notre Dame. Hell, I would have rather lost to USF or Bethune-Cookman. Why? Because they're non-conference games. I can't believe I said that out my mouth. Excuse me. Let me rinse my mouth out with some cane juice. It's biting too. So with all that being said, we have to understand where we're going. And Coach Cristobal and this staff has to understand that these things are unacceptable. There's been a lot of talk about players and the rotation of players. I went through this the other night. I think Kane's Insight has it on their page or on their message board, the snap counts. And I was primarily looking at the defensive line. Our second and third team, especially interior defensive linemen, do not get a lot of snaps. I didn't look at the Bethune and USF game. I looked at Notre Dame, Florida, Louisville game. Justin Scott has very minimal plays. Ruben Bain is maxed out per game, I'm saying. And I talked about the pitch count. I talked about the roster management, how much we're playing these guys. And if you notice, even with our bye week, our defense was stinging those first 4 games. I'm talking about 5, 6, 7 people. I almost lost my mind on the good, bad, and ugly of how good it was. Gave Coach Etherman Coach of the Week. But the players are getting beat up now at this point. And we have a 6-game stretch now. Really, it was a 7-game stretch, but we've already played Louisville. A 6-game stretch left with no rest. And if we don't find ways to get these other guys in and give these other guys rest, we'll be so beat up by the time you even reach the playoffs or even the ACC championship game. And that's huge. Another reason we're in this situation is because we're winning these games very close. So as a coach, I could kind of understand why you got to keep those first team guys out there as long and as much as possible, because we're in a dogfight. We had to claw back just to get close to Louisville. Beat Notre Dame by 3. Florida, not until the last 5 minutes of the game until we kind of just took it away. That's no time at all. That's nothing. That's a possession and a half, if that. So we have to find creative ways to get these guys on the football field so these other guys can rest. And it's kind of like playing the game of pool. You got to be a shot ahead. Yeah, we got to win this game. I understand that. But we got to also think about what's happening down the line. And that's why they kind of call it a pitch count. You know, in baseball, you got a pitcher up there just throwing the ball. You're going to need him down the line. That's why you have other pitchers that come in and pitch. And this is a contact sport. Even in basketball, players are resting, and that's not even considered a contact sport. So how do you expect these guys to go week in and week out playing 68 snaps? 68. 12-play drives. I'm sorry, I thought I heard somebody coming through the door, waving the fofo. Anyway, I'm sorry. I'm back. Playing 68 plays, 12-play, 13-play, 19-play drives at Florida State. That's tough work. Remember, every play you fighting up against a 300-pound grizzly bear. He trying to knock your head off, and you trying to knock his off. So we have to do better. Next, playoffs. Playoffs? In the playoffs, the goals are still ahead. We just got to hope some other things don't happen so we get in. It's just what it is. That's the reality of it. But one thing we cannot do in these next 6 games is drop a game because they're all conference games. We drop a game, is helmets to the left, shoulder pads to the right. Keep your mouthpiece in jockstrap. See you in spring ball. So we were in the driver's seat, just like we were last year, and we dropped one of the 2 games, Louisville, Georgia Tech, whichever one you wanted, didn't matter. We dropped it, got ourselves out of the fight. So we got to do a better job when it comes to that. Real quick, LOL for the 305 for the $10. Appreciate you. We still crying about Louisville when Stanford is 3 days away. Someone please tell me which playoff team went undefeated last year. To your point. And thank you for a perfect segue. As I titled this show, why Miami needed that loss to Louisville, what it means for the Hurricanes' future, and as the thumbnail says, the GOAT, which is the greatest of all time, Nick Saban, came out and he said, quote, in my opinion, Miami needed to lose. I used to tell my players, teams, that all the time when we played a game like that. We needed to lose. We need to learn from the things that we are doing and create the habits to have winning football on a consistent basis. Listen to what he just said. And I'm not tripping about undefeated. I think it's those type of games. That's the issue. And I kind of went and looked back at some of Nick Saban's tenure at Alabama. I didn't go to LSU and all that, but he lost some games, but some of them he lost very early. Some games he lost the Iron Bowl to Auburn. But those were games he could recover from. And this was before the transfer portal era. I'm sorry, the playoff, college football playoffs, where you had the 12 teams and all that. I'm talking about earlier in his career. Because the thing that helped him was down the road, he was going to play some opponents that were still ranked. Unfortunately for us, we don't play those kind of teams. We don't play guys that are highly ranked. We literally have a Louisville Cardinals. We played. They weren't ranked, but they beat us. I'm sorry, Stanford Cardinals. They're not ranked. SMU, not ranked. Syracuse, not ranked. Pitt, not ranked. Who's the other team? Virginia Tech, they not ranked. We're currently sitting at number 9 right now. We're in okay shape. I'm not saying good shape, but we're in okay shape. But as we said at the beginning of the season, we have to do what we're supposed to do. And we got to win these next 6. So LOL, to your point, thank you for that. We got to win these next 6. There's no ifs, ands, or maybes about it. None. Canes Raw says, Coach Hayes, but we not Bama, and Mario damn sure ain't Nick. So why compare when there's no similarity? I wasn't comparing. I was basically saying that the GOAT said this. And no, he's not Nick Saban, and no, we're not Alabama. However, at the end of the day, at the very end of the day, that's a guy that's giving advice, and it's true. So when he said we needed that, I want to kind of break down what he says. In my opinion, Miami needed to lose. I used to tell my teams that all the time when we play the game like that. We need to lose. We need to learn. Here's important. And when he says we, he's not talking about the players. He's also talking about the coaches and the program as a whole. He didn't say they need to learn. We need to learn from the things that we are not doing. See, when you lose, even to the players, the things you messed up on get magnified times 10 in that meeting room, right? Coach is clicking the clicker. Hey, Ruben, right here, look, check this out, Ruben. Hey, you make sure you get your head on the outside, blah, blah, blah. And as a player, you won the game, so you listening to it, but you really comprehending it? Maybe, maybe not. Now this week in that meeting room, he's sitting up in that chair like, damn, you're right, coach, I should have did that. He's more focused now. See, a lot of times we can get away with bad habits and still have good results. And as players do it all the time. Coaches do it all the time. Coaches get away with lack of preparation, but because you have so many good players, they erase your bad habit as a coach. And then you get exposed. So that's why I love what he says. We need to learn from the things that we are not doing and create the habits. See? Create the habits to have winning football on a consistent basis. And that's what's important. And we're going to find out. And Stanford may be create this false positive. I don't think they're a very good team. And I think we run through them like a hot knife through butter. But you're going to see a team that step up and step out. Then we go play Dallas. We go in Dallas and play SMU. And I'll say the blessing in this is, I hate Kylie, I can't believe I'm about to say this, but the Cardinals, I don't want to call it a scrimmage game, but it's a good, what do you call it in boxing? Not a setup fight before you take the big one. What do you call it? Somebody help me, somebody. Help me, somebody. I'm preaching over here. A tune-up fight, I guess, is the right way to say it. Right? A little tune-up fight before you make a big fight. Because SMU could be dangerous to us. We can't lose. We have to win out. A tune-up fight. There you go. A tune-up. Okay, I was right. And that's going to be very important. I think you're going to see a total different team. I'm still putting my trust in Coach Cristobal because I said that's exactly what I'm going to do this year. That still doesn't mean I can't be critical. That still does not mean that I can't point out good things, bad things, and ugly things. I'm going to continue to do that because that's what this channel is all about. Get down, Brown. You better get in there and win them tickets. I better see them last 4 digits of your phone number in there. E. Brown already in there. If you want the tickets right there, D go up X. I don't know how you say that. You win the tickets. Click the link at the top. It's pinned to the top of the chat. 5 rings. 5 rings says, I don't think Miami needed that loss because they ain't going to lose again, and that loss will put them out of the playoff. I guess the 8 is ain't going to lose again. Okay. We still got a chance now. We're not out of it. Again, like I said, kind of to your point, I wish we'd, hate to say it, I wish we would have lost to Notre Dame the opening game. Because we literally saw Notre Dame lose last year, the opening game to NIU. Northern Illinois University took them to the woodshed. And they fought their way back, and they guess what they did? They went on to the Natty. Duval said they were all supposed to be tune-up fights. Bro, it's not easy to win in college football, bro. It is not easy to win in college football. I don't know what people think, but it is not win. It's not easy to win in college football. There's a lot of variables there. It's not a video game. Every time you turn the game on, everybody back healthy. Everybody's at 100%. It don't work like that, man. I know that's what we wanted, and I get it. I get it. All right, we got quite a few people in here. We got 25 people so far in here for these tickets. Let's make it happen, baby. Let's make it happen. Come on, let's get this thing to 50. Can we get 50 people in here to get these tickets? Like I told y'all, if you can't make it, that's fine. Say, hey, coach, when you call in, I can't make it. Can you donate them to some people in need? Trust me, I know some people that need some tickets. I do. I definitely know some people that need some tickets. I'm gonna open up the phone line here for a little bit. I want to hear some people. We already got some people that's called in. I didn't even open the phone lines up, but I got some people that have called in that's already calling in. I want to hear your point of view about this. Also, let me get to Stanford a little bit. I'm sorry, yeah, Stanford. No, we're not at 50. Get up, Brown. We're at 25. We got to get to 50. I think Stanford is coming off a high for the win that they just had, right? Stanford is coming off a high. But again, it's a team I don't think that's very good in Florida State. Good, hard-fought game. No need, no, whatever. But at the end of the day, I think Miami just should overpower them. This game should not even be close. The players should be pissed. The coaches should be pissed. All of that. Why do we spend so much for a guy who can only throw checkdowns? He has no arm, no mobility whatsoever, no horsepower behind his throws, no zip. Thank you for the $4.99. Also, Muhammad, I know you're a season ticket holder, but jump on in the giveaway, man, for the 2 tickets to Stanford. Just because you got tickets, somebody else could use them. Jump on in there as well. Thank you for the $4.99. That's a Mario Cristobal question, bro. That is a Mario Cristobal question. I can't answer that. But like anything else in life, if he was lighting this thing up, would this question come around? See, losses expose these type of questions. Losses expose these type of questions. And so it's very important. It'll be very interesting to find out what people think. But we'll see. Tom Brady was a check down QB.